So OpenAI just released Sora 2, and there are so many different things you need to know, so let's talk about it.
Morty, interdimensional TikTok is here. OpenAI finally dropped Sora 2.0. Look at this.
So if you haven't seen this launch video already, this is the launch video for Sora 2. I'm going to play this. It's around 2 minutes. If you've already seen this, you can skip to this part where I get into 10 things you need to know. But if you haven't seen it, it's pretty crazy because it's a great introductory video to show you guys exactly what is going on.
One year ago, Sora 1 redefined what was possible with moving images. Today, we're announcing the Sora app, powered by the all-new Sora 2. It's the most powerful imagination engine ever built. And it's packed with new features. I'll pass it to Bill for more details.
Now every video comes with sound.
Sora 2 is also the state-of-the-art for motion, physics IQ, and body mechanics, marking a giant leap forward in realism.
And we're introducing Cameo, giving you the power to step into any world or scene and letting your friends cast you in theirs.
On the path to AGI, the gains aren't just about productivity. It's about creating new possibilities.
It's also about creativity and joy. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's why we're launching Sora 2 inside the Sora app, allowing everyone to push the limits of their imagination and create in ways we never thought possible.
So yeah, you guys probably just saw the entire intro, and yes, Sora 2 has been released. Now, I think one of the most incredible things about Sora 2 is the fact that this is a model that is genuinely levels ahead of the previous iterations of video generation models. And that includes, but not limited to, Veo 3. So this is something that took everyone by surprise. But nonetheless, let me show you guys 10 things you need to know. So point number 1 that you need to know is that there is native audio when it comes to Sora 2. So right here, we have this clip of some Vikings on the beach, and you can see it right now without the audio. And you probably saw from the introductory clip just how much of a difference audio makes. So right now, you're looking at the video, this is without audio. But let me stop talking for a second, and I want you to pay attention to how much you hear. You're going to hear him talking, you're going to hear the rain hitting the boat, you're going to hear the men's feet thrashing through the water, you're going to hear everything, and it really creates a completely different atmosphere. Let me turn this on, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about.
Hold steady, brace! Heave! There! Shield wall for the north!
So yeah, that is a completely different experience when you're just generating a standard video. And I think that this is one of the most important things when it comes to video generation. Previously, I remember when working with many different video generation tools, you'd actually have to manually add that audio and the sound effects. But now it seems to be coming by default, which is a huge upgrade because most people don't have sound effects ready on hand to be able to match them up. And most people don't really know where to even get the sound effects from without, facing a bunch of different copyright issues. So this kind of, embedded feature, native audio, is really good. And I think since we saw it with Veo 3, other video platforms are going to continually adopt this practice moving on into the future. Now, at number 2, we got better physics. So I have something from Chase Brow 3232, and this is pretty crazy. So if you aren't familiar with this diagram, this is basically a diagram, and this is what you would, see sometimes on like IQ tests. I'm pretty sure there's some test online out there where you can like kind of see this, and it usually asks, which cup does the ball fall into. But what we can see here, and I'm going to show you guys in just a moment, comparing Sora 2 to Sora and VO3, is that the physics on this are actually pretty good. And this is really surprising, because I remember reading research papers about the fact that these video models were not physics, world models, and the fact that they don't have any, world model understanding. They lack physics understanding. They did some tests, and the tests did pretty much confirm that. But in certain examples like this, it is very hard to say whether or not these models are understanding the physics. Maybe those researchers are going to have to do their research once. And so they might actually have to do their research again, because when I show you the different video examples, this is pretty surprising coming from a video model. So the model correctly predicts that the ball slides off here, slides off here, slides off here, and then goes into the middle cup. And of course, I want to show you guys the differences in the models. So of course, the same user posted this video of VO3. I'm not sure if this is VO3 fast, because VO3 does have two different modes, but I do know that VO, whilst it does have good physics, it didn't, it wasn't able to get the physical, attributes that, would accurately put the cup in the correct area. And then of course as well, there are some fails, with this, like it's not completely fixable. Like here, the ball is a bit bouncy, it drops through there, but it does look a lot better than most scenarios where it just completely breaks and the physics doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, if the ball was bouncy and behaving in, a non-deterministic way, just bouncing wherever, that could kind of make sense to an extent. Now, of course, point number 3 is that we do have some complex physics. So you can see the prompt right there, but this one was pretty crazy. And the reason that they've actually used this example of physics, well, complex physics, is because if you haven't seen already, the physics that is in gymnasts is pretty incredible. Like, one of the hardest things that VO3 and the prior generation of models struggled with was that they weren't really able to effectively get this to not hallucinate and not mess up. Like, there are examples of VO3 with physics where the legs mesh together, and this was a very specific, use case of gymnast video AI generation. Not sure what most people would use this for, but the thing is that when you have this video generation doing all of this, it's very easy for the model to get tricked to mesh the legs together, for it to kind of orientate the body in a way that it's not supposed to. Because when you think about it, only a few humans in the world can actually do this, and there's only so much training data that you can get to be able to correctly represent how a human would catapult on this kind of beam. So to be able to do this at this level is very impressive, to say the least. And I didn't think they would actually solve this. I thought, yep, maybe they could get to this level with future models, but surprisingly, we have Sora 2 and it's there. Now, that's not the only example here. We have two horses on top of each other. And the reason I say this is complex physics, and you guys can see the prompt at the bottom there, is because the physics that enables this is all of these subtle things that you're not paying attention to. So like the horse hair, flowing the way it flows. You can see the leg muscles just jiggling the same way with every single step. We can see that, the horse seems as if it is actually trying to balance on the other horse. So these are the things that, the subtle things that you wouldn't really pay attention to. With prior models, it would be very distorted and it would have this AI look. But these kinds of videos, unless you understand the true absurdity of them, you kind of understand that these look super realistic. And this one right here, this one does have audio, but I'm going to play it without audio. And this one is where you have a full-on game of volleyball. And I don't think I would be able to tell that this is AI. Maybe that's bad for me, but only towards the end there do we see some kind of a little bit of a mess up where the ball actually drops, and then this woman kind of just like gets a little bit freaked out and kind of falls into the sand. But the point is, okay, and I'm gonna show you guys what this is like with audio, because audio is actually there. Let me just turn this on.
Up. Cover middle. Outside.
I'm on it.
Set.
Go. Close. Nice swing. Point. Good job, y'all. Mine. Got it.
And so, yeah, these kind of things are super, super hard because it's like you have to be able to have the video remain consistent over a long enough period. And it is pretty hard to be able to do that whilst you are, you know, generating videos and it's going over to one side, coming back to the other side. So yeah, all of that stuff is pretty difficult. Just want to let you guys know I'm starting a weekly newsletter soon. So if you enjoy videos like this, I'm going to be condensing all the news into one weekly newsletter. So if you miss anything, you'll be able to get that email once a week completely free. Next, another one as well that we do have here, we've got a skateboarder doing a kickflip. So the reason why this one is once again so impressive is because as the board flips, it's really hard to keep track of the orientation of that board in real time without the model distorting where that board goes and sort of blending into the feet here. So you can see as I'm slowing it down, we can see that everything looks coherent. Even as he flips up onto this area here, we can see that he falls off the board and the board looks pretty intact. Like nothing looks, you know, strange about it or weird. Everything about this clip looks extremely comprehensive. I'm going to show you guys what this clip looks like with audio. Or maybe not, because there is some background music and I'm not sure if it's copyrighted, but nonetheless, I think what you have to understand about Sora 2 is that the physics on the model are super impressive, and it's incredible that we are seeing this level of physics from the models in such a short time. I remember when Sora 1 was released, I was really surprised, and I couldn't really believe what I was seeing. But you know, I'm just so surprised that they were able to do this. Now, let's also go on to point number 4. Point number 4 is that there are better styles. So one thing they've managed to do was really nail this anime style. This is something that, you know, I previously saw in different video foundation models, and it was really impressive when you saw that anime style being done really well. But now OpenAI, I don't know what they've done, but they've just managed to hit out that style just completely out the park. Now, in a longer video, I will show you all the different styles that I've seen on the internet, but one that I've consistently seen that looks really cool is of course the anime style. Now we can see here once again, this is the anime style. You can see that right here that this is, you know, really effective in terms of the also multi-shot area as well. It's something I'm going to talk about later. But anime, I don't know what it is about that style. It's just that it really looks really nice, and I don't know, it just looks super realistic to me. Like, maybe I don't watch enough anime to see all the small mistakes, but I really do believe that, you know, potentially in the future people are going to be able to generate their own anime TV shows with one kind of, you know, click and be like, yo, can I generate this anime of, you know, doing this or doing that? And the worst thing is, well, not the worst thing, but the funniest thing is that I did actually see someone doing that on Twitter. Like, they, you know, had an anime about GPU shortages, and it was actually pretty good. Like, I would have suggested, like, if I didn't know about Sora 2, I would have said that someone probably constructed those clips together, spent significant time editing that. And yeah, that's what was really surprising about this. And of course, as I was talking about multi-shot instruction. So one of the things they talk about is the fact that you have the ability to have multi-shot instruction. So this clip that you're seeing here, you have to understand that prior to Sora 2, this was pretty difficult for any average user to do. If you're someone who's just, you know, using the video model, it would only be like you know, one clip. Like, you would only get 1 or 2 of these clips, and then from there you'd have to iterate and then combine those clips in a video editor. But now what you can do, the way that you can prompt, you can say like, soldiers storm the beach of this place or whatever, and it's like, it's so much easier now to build upon stories because everything is so cohesive. You don't need to be like, okay, I'm going to get a scene of the background, then I'm going to get a scene of the men running onto the beach, and then I'm going to get a scene of the final scene of the guy holding up this flag or holding up his weapons. And I think that is what is changing the game here, because every AI app or every AI platform that allows a user to essentially take over and allows them to, you know, really have this ease of use where they take away all of the difficulty. So the sound effects, the shot selection and stuff like that, that is where you have normal people that really want to use that stuff. And the multi-shot instructions is what is going to take this to the next level. And this is something that I've seen and you're about to see, you know, in videos that you see across the Sora app, you'll see multiple different multi-shot instructions. Now, what we also have, one of the standout features, and this is one of the features that I'm guessing is for viralities, but this is the cameo feature. So the cameo feature, probably one of my favorite features, because seeing Sam Altman in all of these comedic things is just seriously hilarious. We can see him doing this video with this creator, but he's not actually in that video with that creator, which is pretty hilarious to me. And we can see here that Sam Altman is literally talking to this guy. And I'm not gonna lie, it looks completely realistic. Take a listen.
Thicker every minute.
You can smell the rain coming.
It's not just rain. There's a front pushing in from the west. Pressure's dropping fast. We're gonna see gusts over 40.
You think they'll call off the festival tonight?
And so this is super intriguing, because what this actually has now, and I think OpenAI were very smart about this, because what they want to have is that virality effect where people share clips with other users and it's like, oh, this user was doing this or this user was doing that. And you have to remember that this is OpenAI's goal. OpenAI's goal is complete virality of people doing absolutely anything. I can probably see Sora 2 being super popular over the next 2 weeks, provided you get one viral clip that everyone uses, and then we could have this app everywhere. The only thing holding it back right now is that it's not rolled out worldwide. I'll talk about that later, but you know, for example, take a look at this. So someone that worked on the Sora team literally just did a collaboration in quotes marks with Jake Paul, and we can see here that they're sitting together looking at the phone. And you know, if I didn't think any better and I didn't see this little watermark right here, I would have said that this is, of course, a real video, because I mean, even the way his earring is, like, just pay attention to that. That is super realistic in my point of view. Usually with AI videos, those small details just really aren't done correctly, and those are the little telltale signs that you can see a video is kind of AI generated. Of course, the big giveaway is the Sora watermark, which is great because it's going around in areas, so it's pretty hard for that to be pervasive in the sense that, like, you know, AI video is just going to be everywhere and you're not going to realize. Of course, open source tools will have that ability, but the point I'm trying to make here is that other than the watermark, there aren't that many giveaways that would tell you that it's completely AI generated. There's nothing outlandish going on here. You're just looking at a video, and maybe if you're him, you could notice some small differences. But the point I'm trying to make here is that cameos are really funny. Like, look at this cameo someone created of Sam Altman running through the data center area. Basically, probably is what's gonna happen right now, you know, putting fires out on the GPUs. I mean, it's pretty hilarious what's going on.
Oh no, GPUs are cooking again! Hang on, come on, go out! Another one, left side, stay down! All right, okay. I think that's all of them, please.
And so yeah, I don't know how they've got the faces to look so good. One of the things that, you know, I've tried before with OpenAI's models is, of course, to look at the faces and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty weird. And for me, it's just really effective. So definitely the cameos feature by far is going to be one of the standout features. And yeah, one thing, you know, point number 7 that I'd like to make is that there are still mistakes in this platform. Right now, the, you know, videos that you're seeing are going to look really good. They're going to seem almost flawless, but you have to remember that those are videos that OpenAI chose themselves. They're not going to show you videos in which there are all of those generative mistakes. Remember, this software is where every video is going to be different. It's not really deterministic in that, you know, 1 + 1 is 2. It's more like, okay, we're going to generate something and the models are going to kind of, you know, merge multiple ideas and see what kind of happens. So, you know, we do have some weirdness going on in the videos that you will be able to see, but I think as we get into the future and as things continue, I think we're going to start to get to that point where you're going to start to see that, you know, these models are basically going to get to that point where, provided you cut out the small mistakes, you're not really going to see all of those weird AI generated issues that we usually get from the earliest models. So it's pretty crazy just how good this model is, because I tried to see many mistakes, but unless you're generating something that is so out of distribution, meaning that the training data, they haven't really, you know, had that many examples to be able to, you know, provide you with videos that look the same, it's going to be pretty hard for there to be as many, issues. Now, if we're looking at rollouts, I don't even have access to Sora 2. Currently, of course, I'm in the United Kingdom, so it's pretty difficult for me to get access anyways. But if you do want to join Sora, you will have to get an invite code. So once you get invited, you can invite 4 people. So I'm guessing OpenAI is trying to roll this out as slowly as possible because they've never had enough compute for any kind of rollout ever. And with this kind of rollout, I do suspect that it would have been extremely viral by now, provided that everyone does have access. But currently, it's not accessible right now. The only way you can really access it is if you go onto the web app, Sora.com. You can sign up in-app for a push notification when access opens up for your account. And the initial rollout is going to be for the United States and Canada today. And of course, they are going to quickly expand it to additional countries. So, apparently this is also free, and it does say ChatGPT Pro users will be able to use an experimental higher quality version called Sora 2 Pro. So this is going to be super interesting because there is a Pro model, and currently I don't know which versions are Pro and which versions are standard. Now, after we talk about the rollouts, we need to talk about this because this is what everyone is talking about right now. Everyone is talking about the fact that is this the end of AGI. People have been, I've been seeing millions and millions of tweets and posts about the fact that OpenAI is preparing to launch a social app for AI generated videos, and the fact that this is going to ruin the world, it's going to ruin people's brains. And it's the fact that they had a mission to build AGI, and now it just seems like they're building an AI slop fest. You can see someone said AGI is not happening, my dudes. Now, there was an interview that Sam Altman did. It wasn't a highly publicized interview, didn't get that much views, but I want people to remind yourselves of what the actual goal of OpenAI is and where we are going to be 5 to 10 years from now. 5 to 10 years from now, Sam Altman himself said in an interview, the most popular thing, the most, important thing for his company, OpenAI, is going to be 5 billion users rather than, the best large language model or the smartest AI in the world. That is what they are optimizing for. They are completely optimizing for distribution first, which means they're going to be optimizing for normal, everyday products the average person is going to want to use on a day-to-day basis. That doesn't mean they're not still going to achieve the goal of AGI. It just means they want to be in the conscious mind of the everyday person, and that is going to be their true goal. So when you see people, stating that AGI is not happening, I don't think so. It just means that, look, these things is, a tactical things that OpenAI has to do, because even if you get the smartest model, the way how AI is, it's like you need to just have that brand identity. And I just think that that would be more useful in the future. And Sam Altman thinks the same, which is why he's doing this. So I don't think OpenAI is going to be an AI slopfest company. I think they just know where the future is headed and they just want a large share of the pie. Now, they also talk about the fact that, with regards to this AI slopfest, is that they are putting default limits on how many generations teens can see per day in the feed. And they're also rolling out stricter permissions on cameos for this group. So basically, they're looking to, prevent bullying, and they don't want people doom scrolling on these apps 24/7. I know this app is probably going to be really popular, but they're saying that, look, we're not going to allow it to be like TikTok where you can doom scroll for hours. They just want it to be a fun kind of thing. I do think that that will change in the future, but yeah, I guess we're never going to know. Now, one other thing that I did see from this user, which was pretty crazy, and I'm not sure how the copyright on this is going to work, but we did actually get an AI generated episode / part of the Rick and Morty stuff. I don't know, it's pretty crazy. I still can't believe that this is real, but take a look at this.
Morty, interdimensional TikTok is here. OpenAI finally dropped Sora 2.0. Look at this.
Oh, we are
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever seen Rick and Morty, you'll know that that isn't actually bad. It isn't bad. It doesn't look AI-ish. It actually is really good in terms of what you are trying to communicate. So I probably would watch several episodes of this, provided it was actually funny. but I can imagine the AI episodes are going to be the future. And I can imagine OpenAI's new technology powering some of these video, creations and studios. But of course, I do think that if users, try and create some things like this in the future, like right now, you can probably go ahead and generate something from your favorite TV show, but probably in a couple days, they will roll this back, probably because of course, copyright, laws and stuff like that, and companies have already faced tons and tons of scrutiny because of course, you don't want people generating multiple episodes and, stealing from training data. There's just that whole mess. But let me know what your favorite features of this app are. And I'll love to see you guys in the next one.